The Crystal Bar had seen its share of patrons over the years, but none quite like the woman who walked in that rainy Tuesday evening wearing a thrift store jacket and shoes held together with duct tape. Maria. Chen wiped down the mahogany counter for what felt like the 100th time that shift, her tired eyes barely registering the bedraggled figure who settled onto the worn leather stool in the corner. The stranger's clothes were damp from the downpour outside, her graying hair plastered against her face, and there was something in her hollow expression that spoke of hardship. The kind that carved lines into a person's soul long before it touched their skin. "What can I get you?" Maria asked, mustering a smile despite the ache in her feet and the worry gnawing at her mind about tomorrow's rent. The woman's fingers trembled slightly as she counted out coins on the counter. "Just water, please." "Tap is fine." Maria's heart squeezed. She'd seen that look before, pride wrestling with desperation, dignity barely holding the line against defeat. Without a word, she filled a glass with ice water and slid it across the bar, then turned to the kitchen window. "Hey, Tony, one bowl of soup, please." "I didn't order," the woman started, but Maria raised her hand gently. "It's on the house. You look like you could use something warm." The woman's eyes glistened. I can't pay for it." "Then it's a good thing I'm not asking you to." As the stranger sipped her water, her gaze wandered around the bar, taking in the mismatched chairs that Maria had lovingly refinished herself, the string lights that created a warm glow against the exposed brick walls, the photographs of regulars that lined the back shelf like a family album. This place was more than a business to Maria. It was a sanctuary she'd built from nothing, working 3 jobs until she'd saved enough for the down payment, pouring her soul into every corner. The soup arrived, steam rising in delicate spirals, and the woman stared at it as if it were a miracle. "Thank you," she whispered, and something in her voice made Maria pause. There was an elegance there, buried beneath the exhaustion, like a melody played on a broken instrument. As the evening wore on, Maria found herself checking on the stranger between serving other customers. The woman ate slowly, savoring each spoonful, and when she finished, she carefully folded her napkin and stood. "I need to be honest with you," she said quietly, her voice steady now. "My name is Eleanor Hartwell." Maria nodded politely, the name meaning nothing to her. She'd never been one for celebrity gossip or business news. Her world revolved around her bar, her regulars, and making ends meet. "I came here tonight because—" Eleanor paused, choosing her words carefully. "I've been testing something. For the past 6 months, I've been visiting establishments across the city, pretending to be destitute. I wanted to see who would show kindness when there was nothing to gain from it." A chill ran down Maria's spine. "Why would you do that?" "Because I'm looking for someone. Someone genuine. Someone who understands that wealth isn't measured in dollars but in character." Eleanor reached into her worn jacket and pulled out a business card. "I'm the CEO of Hartwell Industries. Perhaps you've heard of it?" Maria's hand shook as she took the card. Hartwell Industries. The name finally clicked. The billionaire who'd made headlines for her radical approach to philanthropy, who'd pledged to give away her fortune but wanted to do it right. And she'd been sitting in Maria's bar, drinking tap water and testing her humanity. "I don't understand," Maria managed. 93 establishments, Eleanor said, her voice heavy with disappointment. "That's how many places I visited. Bars, restaurants, cafes. In 92 of them, I was ignored, dismissed, or asked to leave. You're the first person who showed me kindness, without knowing who I was or what I could offer in return." Before Maria could respond, a voice called out from the back hallway. "Maria, I finished cleaning the stockroom. Anything else you need?" Carlos emerged, pushing his janitorial cart, his weathered face breaking into a warm smile. At 72, he'd been working as the bar's janitor for the past 5 years. Ever since, Maria had found him sleeping in the alley behind her dumpster and offered him a job. Everyone told her she was crazy, that he was too old, too slow, that she couldn't afford to hire anyone. But Maria had looked into his eyes and seen something she recognized. A good person dealt a bad hand. "Carlos, you should have gone home an hour ago," Maria said gently. He shrugged, his smile never wavering. "I know you've been stressed about the new refrigerator. Thought I'd stay and help organize the back so you wouldn't have to worry about it tonight." Eleanor turned to watch this exchange, and Maria saw something shift in the billionaire's expression. Surprise, perhaps, or recognition. "You pay him to clean," Eleanor observed. "Why does he stay late without asking for extra money?" Carlos chuckled, leaning on his mop. "Why does Maria give free meals to people who can't pay? Why does she let me sleep in the office when it's too cold outside? Why does she spend her Sundays teaching English to the dishwashers so they can pass their citizenship tests?" He shook his head, his eyes twinkling. "Some things you don't do for money." "Miss, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name." "Eleanor Hartwell." Carlos's reaction was immediate and unexpected. Instead of shock or excitement, he simply nodded, as if a puzzle piece had clicked into place. "I thought I recognized you. You helped my daughter. 20 years ago, funded her scholarship to medical school when no one else would take a chance on a girl from the wrong side of town. She's a pediatric surgeon now, saving kids' lives every day." Eleanor's composure finally cracked, tears streaming down her face. "Dr. Carmen Rodriguez? That's your daughter?" "Yes, ma'am. And she never forgot what you did for her. None of us did." Maria looked between them, her mind reeling. "I'm so confused. What's happening here?" Eleanor sank back onto the bar stool. No longer the downtrodden stranger or the powerful CEO, but simply a woman overcome with emotion. "I've been searching for proof that humanity still exists in its purest form. That people can be good without incentive, kind without recognition. I've spent months being treated as invisible, as worthless, as an inconvenience. I was beginning to lose faith." She looked at Maria with wonder. "But you fed me without hesitation. You saw a person in need and responded with grace. That's just basic decency," Maria protested. "No," Carlos said firmly. "It's extraordinary. Most people walk past suffering every day because it's easier than engaging with it. You've built something special here, Maria, a place where everyone matters." Eleanor stood, and suddenly her presence filled the room with an authority that had been hidden before. "I came here with a plan. I was going to offer an investment, write a check, do what billionaires do. But Carlos's words just changed everything." She turned to the janitor. "Why does she do it? Why does Maria give so much when she has so little?" Carlos's answer was simple, profound in its honesty. "Because she remembers what it's like to have nothing. And more importantly, she never let having something turn her into someone who forgets." The words hung in the air like a benediction, and Maria felt her throat tighten with tears. She'd been holding back for months, years maybe. The stress of keeping the bar afloat, of helping others when she could barely help herself, of maintaining her humanity in a world that often seemed determined to crush it. Eleanor wiped her eyes, then smiled, a real smile that transformed her face. "I didn't come here to test you, Maria. Life already did that, and you passed. I came looking for a partner, someone who understands that true wealth is the ability to make a difference. Hartwell Industries is launching a new initiative, funding community spaces that prioritize people over profit. I want this bar to be our flagship location." "I don't need charity," Maria said quietly. "It's not charity. It's recognition. And it comes with a condition. You teach others how to do what you do. How to build spaces where everyone is valued, where kindness is the currency that matters most." Carlos squeezed Maria's shoulder. "She's offering you a chance to multiply what you've already created, to help others build their own sanctuaries." Maria looked around her bar, her dream made tangible through sacrifice and stubborn hope. She thought about all the people she'd helped, all the small moments of grace that had seemed insignificant at the time but had clearly rippled outward in ways she'd never imagined. "On one condition," Maria said finally, "Carlos becomes my partner in this. He's been teaching me about dignity and generosity since the day we met." The old janitor's eyes widened. "Maria, you're just the person who shows up every day with kindness and gratitude, even when life hasn't been kind to you. If we're going to teach others about humanity, we do it together." Eleanor extended her hand, first to Maria, then to Carlos. "Then we have a deal." As they shook on it, the rain outside began to clear, and through the bar's front window, the city lights sparkled with renewed promise. 3 people who had started the evening as strangers stood united by something money could never buy: the recognition that wealth means nothing if we forget our shared humanity. The Crystal Bar would go on to become a model for community spaces across the country. But that night, It was simply what it had always been, a place where everyone mattered, where dignity was served alongside every drink, and where three souls discovered that sometimes the richest treasures are found in the poorest disguises.